Hi, Annette. I'm John Appleseed. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we do a daily crossword puzzle. Today we've got something a little different. The New York Times has a weekly feature called Flashback where they give you 10 historical events and you have to sort them into chronological order. So place them all in the order they occurred in history. They don't give you the dates, obviously. You have to figure that out from the context in your knowledge of history. I enjoy doing that every week. And I saw they had a Flashback 250, a U.S. history quiz in honor of the 250th anniversary of the United States, which will happen this weekend. So I thought I'd try it. Instead of the normal 10 events, we'll have 25 events. So let me see if I can figure out and see if the quiz will fit on my page. All right, so we're given one event to start with. 1776, John Adams hopes that the U.S. will celebrate its birth with parades and fireworks every July 2nd. I think the Declaration of Independence was actually passed by Congress on July 2nd, but not signed until the 4th, something like that. All right, our next one is Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins splash down in the Pacific Ocean. On a customs form, they declare their cargo moon rocks and moon dust. That obviously happened after 1776, so we put it there and we tap to place it, and there we go. That was 1969. Our next event, in a TV extravaganza, Oprah Winfrey tells 276 fans, "You get a car." She fills the studio with people who need new wheels and EMTs in case of shock. And that happened sometime after 1969. 2004. These will get more difficult as we get more things in the list. Our next event, a Seattle seismometer detects tremors on par with a 2.3 magnitude earthquake. They're not tectonic. They're from Taylor Swift's Eras tour. Okay, that's going to happen sometime after 2004. 2023. As the dial-up age dawns, AOL launches a bold campaign. It loads floppy disks and CDs with free trials and mails them unsolicited to millions of homes. I remember that. Was that before or after Oprah? I think that came before Oprah. Yeah, 1993. Lin-Manuel Miranda, inspired by an Alexander Hamilton book at an airport, takes the $10 Founding Father to Broadway. The show soon nabs a record 16 Tony nods. That was certainly after Oprah, but before Taylor Swift. Yep, 2015. On D-Day, Comanche soldiers known as Code Talkers relay intel on Utah Beach. The Nazis never decipher their messages, which include 250 code words. So D-Day was 1944. Put that right there. There we go. If I remember at the beginning, so if we get 3 errors, we're going to end our game. So we're doing okay so far, but these will get harder. After field trials, Jonas Salk's polio shot is deemed effective. He says that it belongs to the public, adding, "There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?" Okay. Interesting philosophy. You wouldn't see that from a lot of pharmaceutical companies these days. So polio, 40s or 50s? Before or after the end of World War II? So here's where I'm not quite sure. I'm going to think this is maybe early 50s, but I could be wrong. 1955. All right, mid-50s. Our next one is Peter Jennings cuts into General Hospital with breaking news. After 79 days and many angry calls, the Coca-Cola Company is backing away from New Coke. I remember this. So I was alive when this happened. So it's going to happen sometime after 1968 when I was born. So I guess here we go. It's going to go 1985. Yeah, I thought it would be before AOL. At the Watergate complex, 5 burglars tied to Richard Nixon's campaign are arrested. The lookout asks, "Does that mean I'm out of a job?" I think that was around 1975. 1972, okay, it was off by a couple years there, but we had some wiggle room. On a snowy Illinois route, 6 drivers face off in the nation's first auto race. A U.S.-made car chugging along at 7 miles per hour clears the finish line first. Automobile was invented around 1900-ish, so I'm going to put that well after 1776, but before the end of World War II. Yep, 1895, okay. Our next one, on a 13-mile stretch of the B&O, America's first major railroad opens in Maryland. A round trip jaunt on a horse-drawn train costs 75 cents. I guess that's sometime in the 1800s. Yeah, 1830. Okay, at war with Germany, Americans renamed sauerkraut Liberty Cabbage, Dachshunds Badger Dogs, and New Berlin, Ohio as North Canton. So that was World War I. 1914, there we go, that fits. Yeah, 1917 is when the U.S. entered the war. To stand out in fog, the unfinished Golden Gate Bridge needs a paint job. The Navy pitches black and yellow stripes, but an architect likes the deep orange primer. When was the Golden Gate Bridge painted? Late 1800s? Maybe early 1900s? Maybe. Was it before World War One? When was the Eiffel Tower? Late 1800s. All right, I'm going to say, I feel like this was before World War One, but maybe not. Maybe in between the wars. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I was going to drag that in between the wars, which is where it was. Okay, so my mistake there. That was a misclick. 1935 is when that happened. 19th Amendment is ratified, extending suffrage to women. A Tennessee legislator casts the tie-breaking vote after his mom in a letter tells him to get on board. That happened in the 20s, I think. So let's put that there and see if that's right. Yeah, 1920. A girl writes to Abraham Lincoln that whiskers would boost his campaign since your face is so thin. Before he's sworn in, he stops to meet her bearded. So Lincoln was elected before the Civil War, 1860s. We'll put it right here, I think. Yeah, 1860. The Wright brothers flip a coin to decide who will pilot their first powered flight. Wilbur wins, but quickly crashes, so Orville gets to steer the pivotal 12-second ride. I think that was around, well, certainly before World War One, because we had biplanes in World War One, as Snoopy told us. So let's put that around here. Yeah, 1903. Federalists passed the Sedition Act, making it illegal to write, print, utter, or publish criticism of the government. It prompts fierce criticism of the government. The Alien and Sedition Act, very early in the history, but I think before 1830, but after 1776. We'll put that there. 1798, okay. The Statue of Liberty, shipped in 350 pieces across 214 crates, arrives in New York Harbor. It has to sit tight. Americans are still raising cash for a pedestal. When was that? Before the big waves of immigration around the early 1900s. So it could go, I'm trying not to tap. Don't want to tap it yet. Is that after 1895, maybe, or before? I think this might be right. Let's see. Yep, that's right, 1885. Our next one, the White House installs a phone, Alexander Graham Bell's new invention. The gadget, which only the Treasury building can reach, has a memorable number 1. Telephone was invented early 1900s, late 1800s, maybe? So here's one of the difficult ones. So it's going to be somewhere between 1860 and 1920, probably before World War, maybe after World War One. I'm going to put it here, between the Wright brothers and World War One. Let's see. No, that was wrong. Oh, much earlier than I thought, 1877. All right, that one was absolutely incorrect. At the Capitol, Samuel Morse shows off his new long-distance telegraph. He zaps a note, "What hath God wrought?" to Baltimore and gets a reply moments later. So telegraph, 1800s. Before 1830 or after? After, I think. Let's see. 1844, yep. In her first Underground Railroad mission, Harriet Tubman guides her niece and her niece's children to freedom. She ultimately helps at least 140 people escape slavery. I think before the Civil War, but not too much before. Let's put it here in between Morse and 1860. Yep, 1850. Andrew Jackson's troops fend off a British attack in New Orleans. Information travels slowly, so neither side has heard the news. There's already a peace treaty. In 1814, we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. I think that was 1814. 1815, okay. James Monroe invites Marquis de Lafayette, a French veteran of the American Revolution, to visit. His 24-state tour sparked huge crowds and a wave of celebratory merch. So after the Civil War, he's coming back to do a victory tour, probably before 1798. Let's try that. No, 1824. Wow, okay, that's much later than I thought. Oh no, I made 3 mistakes. All right, let's keep playing. Ohio, a chunk of the Northwest Territory, joins the Union, more or less. Congress neglects to formally admit the 17th state. When did Ohio join the Union? Early 1800s, I would think. It was early 1800s, but before Andrew Jackson. Congress adopts a great seal, which stars a bald eagle. Ben Franklin later laments that it's a bird of admirable character since it steals fish and scares easily. Let's put that very early after the Declaration of Independence. Yes. And that was it. Okay, so actually, one was a misclick. Can I show 31% of people got 20 to 24, 34% of people got 15 to 19 correct. Nice bell curve distribution there. And if you scroll down, you can click on links to learn more about all the events in this week's quiz. I like this. This is something I like to do every week. It kind of helps you keep up with or think about history. And sometimes things happen a lot earlier or a lot later than you might have thought they did, as happened today. I had one kind of misclick here where I meant to put it in the right place. So really I had 3 incorrect, which isn't bad, I think, for a 20-question history quiz, all packed into 250 years worth of American history. So happy birthday, America. And I hope we can all celebrate together on this great time in our nation's history. And please join me on my channel for more puzzling games. I'll see you next time.